I hope that I'll work hard enough someday that I'll be able to compose music. I also hope that I discover something new someday as a scientist.
If I could serve in the community, I would like to collect items from people who don't need them anymore, and I'd like to give those items to people who are less fortunate who could use them.
If I could be the greatest at something, I would want to be an all-around great person, as in being generous to everyone and not trying to hurt other people, and just being really well-rounded.
Who benefits from a quality education? Families, communities, businesses, and children all benefit from a child's quality education.
Children are our future. And children in today's classroom come from a wide variety of backgrounds, language backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, and we need to make sure that we are following I think what our forefathers had really conceptualized for education, and that is giving every child an equal opportunity to be the president, every child an equal opportunity to make a discovery that will change the world of tomorrow. And you can only do that through teachers that know how to bring out those gifts and talents that children bring to us.
PSU's Graduate School of Education's award-winning programs all focus around preparing professionals who work with children of any ethnicity, class, language, and learning disability. The look of our classrooms has changed over the years, and PSU leads the way in preparing educators for today's ever-changing schools.
What differentiates the School of Education from others is that we prepare students to meet the needs of those students who might normally be lost in the system. So students who may have different languages, different needs, different abilities, we prepare students for those settings and for children who need us the most. And so we draw on the vibrant, rich urban environment as a laboratory for our students.
We could do economic analyses to show that students that aren't educated well, who have disabilities, are not able to procure jobs that pay well and not able to become tax-paying members of the society and to help support and maintain our cultural capital.
And we know that if we continue to really not meet the need of all children and allow them to drop out of school, those disenfranchised people are likely then to become involved in criminal activities. And we can choose where to put our funds, whether that be to build more jails and to increasing court cost, or we can educate our population that will in turn be productive citizens.
On average, a study we did at the Quality Education Commission for the state showed that for every dropout, the difference between the amount of taxes paid in by a dropout and other state-related fees versus the amount of services they use, they will consume more than $8,500 a year on average annually in services over the amount of revenue they produce in the state. So they are a net borrower. And so we cannot afford to have anyone, any student, drop through the cracks of the system.
Salish Ponds has a really diverse population of students and families. Approximately 75% of our children are living in poverty. About 15% are homeless. We have a high percentage of children who have an incarcerated parent. And then there's the multilingual, multi-ethnic population as well. My experiences that I had at Portland State made it possible for me to step into that position and work with the families and work with the children from these diverse backgrounds.
The Portland State program has made a huge difference in that I think it's focused on the needs of the community. It's focused on the gaps. We know there are gaps today in the number of teachers in math, science, in the areas of special ed, ESL, because of the changing demographics. And Portland State has created a focus around those, has asked people like Marta and I to fund those type of programs so that we can increase capacity.
One of the differences with children who I used to teach in my earlier days of teaching came to school and they had dreams. Their parents helped to instill dreams in them of things that they wanted to do or achieve or accomplish. And the children that we have in school now don't come to school with dreams. Their parents, many of their parents don't have dreams. Their life is about surviving month to month. And so our job has become greater in that we have to help instill dreams in children and then help children learn that they can achieve their dreams.
The Bilingual Teacher Pathway Program, or BTP as we call it, specifically is to prepare bilingual bicultural instructional assistants for teacher licensure. So in other words, these bilingual, bicultural individuals are already working in our public schools today and represent many languages and cultures.
The Inclusive Educators program is training teachers who understand how important it is for children with disabilities to have a sense of belonging in their elementary classroom. My whole 18 to 20 year experience was with students who were segregated, who were in self-contained, what we would call self-contained settings, but settings that were they were in schools that were separate from the public elementary school. So they didn't get a chance to interact with kids that didn't have disabilities. And it always felt very devaluing. And it became very apparent to me that there was a sense of belonging that was missing for them. And almost every person I've ever met who has an intellectual disability, which the public would know as mental retardation, has always rejected the label and they have always wanted to be known as a person first, a man, a woman, a boy, a girl. And so I have always been committed to bringing that sense of belonging to students with disabilities, and I think that inclusive education is the best way to do that.
Today, the Center of Disease Control says that it's 1 in every 300 children who have autism. So you could expect to see 2 to 3 children with autism in an elementary school of, say, 500 children. And so the last 2 years, we've been doing a regional training project where we've set up model training sites in each region of the state. And to date, we have 25 different model training sites throughout the state. And in each of those sites, there's trained staff and teachers who are providing an appropriate program for kids. And then there's an autism specialist that we've trained to train others.
One of the unique parts of our programs is that most of them are field-based and do have quite a community service component built into them. So among all of our programs, our students serve about 300,000 hours of community service, and that comes to a dollar amount of about $6.5 million if you calculate that at a beginning teacher's salary. So it's a huge economic advantage to have our students in the classrooms.
Salish Ponds Elementary has been open for 3 years now, and our test scores have exceeded the schools in our comparison group, our socioeconomic comparison group, and that's with approximately 2/3 of our classroom teachers are graduates from Portland State University's teacher education programs, and they're all within their first 5 years of teaching. So that's pretty amazing.
The Graduate School of Education, because of the specific programs that the MART and I have funded, which are really based around 4 key areas: math, science, ESL, and special needs, actually help many kids at risk and many kids that are falling into the achievement gap areas. And so we have actually seen the direct correlation between the quality of teachers that come out of the program and through the Thrasher scholarships and what happens in the classroom. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of movement or some improvement in the achievement gap being reduced.
The biggest obstacle of our students is the increasing price of tuition and fees that comes with their preparation program. So what's really helpful is the scholarships that we have available to students thanks to the generosity of our donors.
Most kids in poverty don't ever get a college education. And for us to be able to help and enable students that may not ever be able to break that cycle through philanthropy is really a gratifying piece, and really helps our economy because of the impact it has for those kids that end up dropping out.
People should support teacher education programs in general because of the ripple effect. Because by producing a quality teacher, you are going to impact the lives of many, many people down the line. Each year, every elementary teacher is going to have from 25 to 30 students. And if you have funded a program that produced an excellent teacher, then you have 30 students in that classroom that have received an excellent education and are going to become wonderful contributing members of society. And each of those 30 is going to impact other people in their lives. And the next year the teacher has another 30, and the next year another 30.
I love knowing that every day I'm going to be impacting and making a difference in children's lives. My favorite time of the day is when I open the doors in the morning and I get smothered with hugs from children. And then throughout the day I'm there to support them as they make decisions that are either good choices or bad choices, and help to teach them along the way.
Portland State University's Graduate School of Education, the leader in preparing professionals for the growing diverse needs of our schools and the communities in which we live and work.